here.
Hey, girl! What up? What it do, baby?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss Summer House Martha's Vineyard Season 2, Episode 6. And before we get into it, let me tell y'all something. This reunion is about to be that girl. Because, honey, between the drama with Summer, you have Alex going on Watch What Happens Live, and the way he low-key cleared Summer by stating his piece, he said, now, how is my sex only a 5 out of 10? But a few days ago, Miss Summer was calling me, leaving me all these crazy voice notes.
I'm gonna just scoot on over and let you whack him. Get him again. Get him for me.
So I just say, yeah, this reunion is about to give us what the other girls were supposed to have gave, in the words of the iconic Rolling Ray, and I cannot wait. But this episode gave me what I needed. It was explosive, the drama, there were some actual fun parties. I said, thank you, Jesus, won't he do it? But first things first, Miss Summer, if there is a season 3, and if you are asked to come back, I'm going to need you to go and see the lady like yesterday, because these emotional outbursts, you storming off and throwing things and cursing, getting angry every time you get drunk, this ain't it, girl. And let me just spill some quick tea. I was holding on to it, debating if I wanted to spill it, but with Summer's actions, I feel like I can say it. Y'all know that I was at the premiere party for Summer House Martha's Vineyard last month, right? I told y'all that Summer was standoffish, correct? But there was a time right before we went to the after party that it was me, Summer, and Jordan. And Summer went on this rant about how her and Bria, I guess present day, aren't really effing with each other. And then on top of that, she went on to say how she does not want to come back to the show if there is a season 3, and that she plans on quitting after this season. Now, mind you, I had already seen the screener of the first episode, so I already knew that Summer had made a fool of herself talking about Alex was inside of her and all that jazz. So when she went on that rant at the premiere party, I said, I'll bet money that Summer has a really rough season and she's embarrassed and scared about what's going to be shown. And that's why she's talking about quitting and how she doesn't care about the show anymore and she's tired. In all seriousness though, Summer, your behavior is a bit troubling. At the end of this episode, it was jarring to see you go from 0 to 100 like that, and nothing had even happened. And I'm like, Miss Mamas, before you signed up for this season, you should have signed up to see a therapist, because you have a lot of emotional baggage and you're taking it out on people. You and Jordan are two sides of the same coin. And again, it doesn't make for fun TV. We're just not here for all these rants and outbursts. It was very off-putting to see you snap like that. Then you push Noel, a hot mess. Amir, it's gonna be real tight for you today because your girlfriend tried it. Natalie, I know we met at the premiere party. You were lovely. We talked briefly. But Miss Girl, you said quite a few things in this episode that were troubling to me, and I had to give you the side eye. It was definitely giving these blacks, I'm not trying to be around them. That's the attitude and the energy that you gave. But without further ado, let's just jump right on into it, because as you can see, I have a lot to say and we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up this episode with everybody getting ready for the day. And we see Summer in the kitchen and she's on the phone with her grandma. And remember, 2 episodes ago, Summer had revealed that her grandmother was going in for surgery, and that's why she was stressed out when she was fighting with Jordan. So she's asking her grandma how she's doing, and her grandma says something to the effect of, she should expect to get her sight back in the next 4 to 6 months. Now, Summer didn't clarify what surgery her grandma had, but hearing that her sight wouldn't be back for the next 4 to 6 months, I definitely felt for her. I hope that she's okay, and I hope that she has a speedy recovery. But we do learn from Summer that her grandma is the most important person in her life, and her grandparents took her in when she was little because her mom struggled with addiction. And then on top of that, she had no idea who her father was. We do see a clip from a few nights ago where Summer was out with the guys and she was telling them all about how she has no idea who her father is. She thought it was somebody else, but it turns out it wasn't him. And then when she called her mom said, well, all I can tell you is it was a one-night stand, but I don't know his name. And she goes on to say, pretty much, my dad has no idea that I even exist. Now Summer continues on by saying that due to how she grew up, she has abandonment issues, and she does not feel comfortable burdening her friends with her problems. And I understand that because I'm the same way too. I'm somebody where if I'm going through something, I feel like nobody has to know. You'll find out about it once I've gotten over that hurdle. You know what I'm saying? I'm somebody who believes in never letting folks see you sweat, and I keep my problems between me and the good Lord and my journal, my mother, and therapist. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in really sharing hardships with friends. Like, I just don't. Because unfortunately, people will try to use stuff against you or throw things in your face, or they're getting a good laugh out of your problems. There's a saying that's like, don't tell your problems to anybody because 80% don't care and the other 20% are happy that you have the problems. So I know that might be kind of paranoid, but yeah, I'm just not really a big believer in telling friends about issues. You know, no, as far as you know, everything is all good. And again, Summer, while I understand that mindset, I do take issue with you taking out your anger on everybody in the house. Very much like Jordan, where she does the same thing. I don't like it. I don't think that it's fair. And it's low-key ruining everybody's time in this house. And we'll talk more about that at the end of the episode because that's when your whole outburst happened. But I just feel like since you don't want to talk to your friends about your issues, I would suggest seeing a therapist or a counselor or somebody. Because, honey, you can't have all these pent-up emotions like this. They are going to come out eventually. So now everybody's in the kitchen. Amir's talking about he's excited because it's couples weekend. We learned that his girlfriend Natalie is going to be here in a few hours. Simon's coming. And Preston's boyfriend, now fiance, Donald, is also coming. So now Preston says that he's also excited and he can't wait for his mixer that he's throwing later on tonight. And then he can't wait for the Freaknik party afterwards. So we learned from Jordan that Jordan's going to be hosting a Freaknik party at the house. So Jasmine's excited because Mariah's coming, and she says that in the 12 years that they've been friends, their first time ever being tested was last year when Jasmine had to kick Mariah out the house. So she says that they spent a year getting back to their friendship and now they're back on track. She can't wait for her girl to come, especially since Silas isn't there. Now, a quick side note. I've seen quite a few comments on Twitter with people saying, I don't understand why everybody's making such a big deal about Mariah coming back. She didn't give a whole lot. And I get that, but I think that the majority of the viewers feel like Mariah was robbed of getting a fair chance for us to get to know her. And I understand that because when you think about it, it isn't fair that Mariah got kicked out because Summer put her hands on Bria last season. And not only did they not have a house meeting about it, nobody said anything. Her and Bria made up. They were good, back to normal. And she wasn't kicked out of the house. And she was brought back on for season 2. So I think that the main point of wanting Mariah back is more so let us decide if she should be back on for another season versus kicking her off prematurely. And for y'all to say, oh, well, Mariah didn't even give that much. Again, there are quite a few people on this show this season who aren't giving a whole lot either. They are coasting. So if they can stay on for another season, I think that Mariah deserves another shot. Just saying. Now, Simon pulls up to the house and he's wearing these flamingo pajamas. Nick had me on the floor. And one thing about it, while Nick might not bring the drama, Nick gives you some good confessional shade because in this episode, baby, he was on point. He was in rare form. He was definitely firing off on all cylinders. So Nick is like, I have 2 questions. where did you buy that pajama set and why did you buy that? Because you look crazy. Now we have Donald pulling up, and Donald is Preston's man. And congratulations to Preston and Donald, because a few weeks ago they got engaged. So again, congratulations to you guys, and you guys make such a cute couple. So anyhow, I thought it was interesting because I guess at one point Shanice was just walking around the house and you hear her talking about she wants to get drunk. Now, it's no shade and it's no judgment, because I love a good glass of champagne. I love some tequila. Like, there's no judgment over here, right? But it was only like 11 a.m. I don't even know if it was noon. And you're already talking about getting drunk. And I've noticed throughout the season that Shanice is always the first one pushing alcohol on somebody. Like, her first thing out of her mouth is, let's all take shots. Let's all get drunk. And it's like, that's cool and all, sis, but when do you ever drink some water? And the way y'all act after you guys get drunk, the way you guys are so emotional, I think that you guys could benefit from just having some water every now and again. And again, Shanice, it was only like 11 a.m., not even noon yet, and you're talking about getting drunk. Shanice gives me the impression that she's afraid that the alcohol is going to disappear and fly away. And I just want to let you know, girl, the alcohol's not going anywhere, I promise you. It will still be there. So now we see Bria, Simon, Shanice, and Summer go up to the roof to have some rosé and just chat. So of course, Bria brings up Phil. She's like, oh, Phil is already here on the island. I wish he could come today to Preston's party. And so Shanice is like, oh, why don't you ask Preston if that's okay to bring Phil? So they call Preston over. And I want to know, does Bria have a crush on Phil? Because I feel like she is way too invested on Phil coming to the house. I feel like Bria talks more about Phil than she does Simon, and Simon is her man. So now Simon brings up that he wants Phil to come today because he likes Phil and Phil is funny and he wants some laughs. So Preston says, look, I'm not going to invite Phil, but you can. It's whatever at this point. There's no beef. Me and Phil are cool. Like, it is what it is. So now Bria mentions that Mariah will also be there since Mariah and Phil are also good friends. So Preston says, oh, well, that's going to be interesting because we all know that there's still some lingering beef between Bria and Mariah. Even though Bria said last year on Kempire's channel that her and Mariah were all good, but I digress. So now we jump over to Amir, and he has just picked up his girlfriend Natalie, and off rip, Natalie comes off as very insecure when Amir was briefing her on how Summer can be super touchy-feely, and you have Natalie saying, yeah, I know. I noticed that at the party a few months ago. I didn't like that. I was like, girl, shut up. You pretty much don't want Amir next to anybody who's not you. If there's another woman there, you're threatened by her. So stop it. And I just feel like this might not be the relationship for you if you're the jealous type, because nobody has time to deal with trying to pacify your feelings 24/7. If you know that you're that girl and that your man wants you and is in love with you, then you should not be feeling threatened or jealous about other women. You know that Amir is on a Bravo show and he's in a summer share for 2 weeks with single women and single men and men who are in relationships. It's a mix. It's a variety of people. And you need to be okay with that. You have Amir saying that if Natalie feels any type of way, just remember that it's him and her and that he loves her. I just said again, this woman screams very insecure, because I just don't understand why she's acting like these women just want Amir. And Amir, when you guys got back to the house and you were giving her a tour, and then you went on to say that Natalie is a bit uncomfortable because she knows that a lot of the women in the house expressed interest in him. I said, sir, who expressed interest in you? Why are you trying to rewrite history? Because if I recall, you had a crush on Jordan. She curved you, and that was that. I don't remember hearing anybody else say that they wanted you. Summer and Alex had their flirtation going on. Bria has a boyfriend. Jasmine is married. Mariah was kicked out of the house. Shanice was only there for one weekend. So again, please let me know who else was checking for you. You were the one who expressed interest in somebody and got curved. Now you want to talk about, oh yeah, my girlfriend knows that all these women were, they wanted me. No, they didn't.
No.
And if I'm being honest, this needs to be Amir's last season because nobody wants to watch somebody who's in this sort of relationship where they can't even talk to somebody of the opposite sex because they have a jealous girlfriend back at home. That's not fun. Amir has brought absolutely nothing this season. All we've heard him talk about is he's afraid because his girlfriend might beat him up if she even thinks that he's cheating on her, and he's trying to be a good boyfriend and he's in love with her. That's all well and good, but keep that off of our screens. Now, mind you, we flip right back to Summer, Bria, Preston, Simon, Donald, and Shanice on the roof. And Bria starts asking everybody if this is going to be their first time hanging out with Amir's girlfriend, Natalie. So they all say yeah. And now Summer interjects and says that she remembers meeting Amir's girlfriend and how standoffish she was. And she's just like, I was so warm and loving towards her, but that's not what I got in return. Then she goes on to say that she can understand why Natalie might have something against Jordan because her man liked Jordan last summer, but she's confused as to why Natalie has some smoke for her. Now, let me stop right here. I think that it's embarrassing and it just reeks of insecurity and low self-esteem if you're threatened by your boyfriend's ex-crush or ex-girlfriend. If your man is with you right now and he's in love with you, you should not be fixated on who was before you. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm too overconfident or something, right? But as for me, I would never even let somebody know that I was rattled by their presence. I could never give anybody that satisfaction. It's just silly to me and it makes no sense. And I don't understand why Natalie would have any beef with Jordan. Nothing even happened between Jordan and Amir. So again, it just sounds so dumb all the way around. So now we see everybody getting ready for Preston's cocktail mixer. And Bria is on the phone with Phil. She's like, hey Phil, good news. Preston said that you can come tonight to the party. Can't wait to see you, and also let Mariah know. You guys can go together. So Phil's like, oh, well, Mariah's right here. He puts the camera on Mariah. Mariah's like, hey, girl, what's up? Bria's talking about, oh, damn, this is awkward. Like, talk about a plot twist. And I'm like, Bria, what is the problem between you and Mariah? You did an interview saying that you guys were fine. So please explain to me why you're now switching up and acting like you just hate Mariah so badly. I thought it was funny when we jumped over to Jordan and Summer getting ready, and we hear them talking about Amir and Natalie. And Summer makes it clear that she's not in any rush to greet Natalie again. She says, I'm sick of meeting people, especially when they weren't that nice the first time. And I said, now Summer, again, you were standoffish when we met. So I said, I think it is hilarious that you're calling somebody else standoffish and cold. And Amir was eager for them to meet his girlfriend because he knocks on their door and he's like, hey, Jordan, hey, Summer, are you guys in here? Natalie's here. Do you want to meet her? They were both like, we're getting dressed right now. Don't worry. We'll come and find you guys, but just leave us alone. Baby, they said, no, thank you. We'll pass, but thank you anyway. Now, mind you, Preston and Donald have already left the house. They're already at the venue to make sure that it looks good, that the food is there, the bar is all set up. So that's where they're at. So we see Noelle, Shanice, and Summer go down the stairs. And it was so weird because Amir is just standing by the stairwell and he's dying for them to meet his girlfriend, Natalie. So I'm just like, Amir, why don't you focus on getting dressed and they'll all meet Natalie at the party? So at this point, Jordan is the last person to come out the room. And Amir's like, hey, Jordan, do you want to go meet Natalie right now? And Jordan's like, no, thank you. I'm good. As this interaction is happening, you have Natalie eavesdropping and she runs inside of the room because she does not want to meet Jordan. I said, Natalie, if I were you, I feel so embarrassed because you are showing how pressed you really are about Jordan. Jordan has you shook, because there's no way that I would be shook to say hello and introduce myself to one of my boyfriend's castmates who he happened to like last season. At the end of the day, nothing happened. And even if something did happen between them, that was in the past. So now we jump over to Preston's party, and pretty much everybody's there except for Amir, Natalie, Bria, and Simon. They're still at the house getting ready, but everybody else is there. And Preston did a nice job with the venue and with the food, okay? They had some sushi, I saw some dumplings, there was a nice spread, and there was a bar. I said, okay, good, because you guys know how I am about a good spread. So Preston, 2 points for you. It was funny because at one point they were talking about Jordan's Freaknik party afterwards and how they can't wait for that. So I think one of Preston or Jordan's friends starts asking if they've ever been to Freaknik. And Noelle was like, oh, my dad was there. He used to talk about he was patrolling. And I'm like, child, please. Then she goes on to say that one of her cousins was conceived during Freaknik. Now, Simon has jokes, because when Simon, Bria, Amir, and Natalie finally arrived, Simon goes on to hug Preston, and he's like, oh, you look like Milli Vanilli. I said, not Milli Vanilli. But Preston, let me just say this, though. I was getting hot watching you in that all-black ensemble in the dead of summer. It's 95 degrees out and you have on all black. And again, Amir was pressed for Jordan and Natalie to talk. He's like, hey, Jordan, I don't think you've met Natalie. So they actually hug. Natalie's pretty pleasant. They both joke around about how they're both wearing brown dresses. Now I said, see, Natalie, was that so hard? So now Phil and Mariah walk through the party, and you already know that it's tense because there's drama with Phil and the guys. Pretty much it's Phil versus everybody because of the way he showed his ass last season. And then there's still lingering tension between Mariah and Bria and Mariah and Amir. So immediately Bria's walking around. She's like, you know, I can coexist with Mariah. We could be in the same room, but she's not my friend. And I'm like, Bria, if you claim to not care about Mariah so much, why are you so bothered? Because I'll be damned if somebody walks in the room and I'm sitting up there flustered and moving around. Like, no. I'm not doing that. The way Nick makes it clear that he is not here for Phil in any capacity, he said, me and Phil were only in the same room one time, and we do not go to the same places. We don't do the same things. I'm in Tokyo, I'm in London, I'm in South Africa, I'm at Wimbledon. Like, honey, I am booked and busy.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
I just said, ooh. Now, I saw some folks mad at Nick's statements. They were like, oh, why is Nick being so elitist? And I'm like, listen, if somebody took a you-know-what in your toilet and didn't flush it and then told you to F off, would you have anything pleasant to say about them either? Phil was rude, so Nick has every right to pop off and say what he wants to say about Phil. Again, I think that what Nick lacks in drama, he really makes up for it in his confessionals because he shines in his confessionals. And in this episode, he was batting 1,000 because every confessional shot, he was bringing us the shade. So we see Mariah making her rounds. She's hugging everybody. She even hugs Amir. And we find out from Amir that some texts were exchanged between him and Mariah where Mariah pretty much demanded that he give her a public apology. So he's like, I don't believe that I owe her an apology because everybody in the house agreed that she put hands on Bria and she had to go, period. So Amir, let me just get you together quickly, right? Because it shows a lack of character for you not to just own up to what you did last season and just say, I'm sorry that I caused the mess. It wasn't intentional. I'm really sorry. I don't understand why that's so difficult. And I saw an interview that you did almost a year ago where you were asked about giving Mariah an apology, and you double down on it saying, well, I'm one of those people where if I'm forced to do something, I'm not going to do it. So because she wants the apology, I'm not going to give it. And I was like, what an asshole. And also, Amir, I find it funny that you allow your non-black girlfriend to talk to you any old way, threaten you, talk about beating you up, cutting your balls off if you even look at another woman, but you, for some reason, can't seem to say, I'm sorry, I apologize to a black woman that you hurt and got kicked out of the house. It almost feels like subconsciously you feel like a black woman isn't worthy of your apology. That's what it feels like. And Amir, did you have any of this smoke when Summer put her hands on Bria last year? You just glossed over that. That was fine with everybody. But now you want to hold Mariah's feet to the fire, talking about, oh, well, you know, hey, we all voted her out and she put hands on Bria. It is what it is. But where was this energy for Summer? I'll wait. I wouldn't be upset if Amir was let go after this season. I know that Andy has a crush on Amir, but Amir brings nothing to this show. And yeah, I don't feel any way about how Amir's girlfriend talks to him and embarrasses him. Because when they were all talking about real estate at one point, and you have Natalie pretty much emasculating Amir, and she's just like, oh yeah, I do over $1 million, he does under $1 million. I do what he does in a year, in a month. I was like, well, damn. Tell us how you really feel, sis. That wasn't needed. All you had to say was, oh yeah, we do real estate together and we love it. And Amir looked dejected when she said that. You just let her talk to you anyway, huh? But again, it's not my issue, not my problem. Sir, if you like it, I love it. Not my fight. I have no dog in that fight, okay? But I think it's interesting that your girlfriend is sitting up there embarrassing you like that. A mess. I definitely had a good laugh, and I thought about what Cynthia G would say about their dynamic. Shout out to Cynthia G, okay? I really hope that she is back on YouTube. I miss her channel. But yeah, shout out to Cynthia G. So now we see Bria and Mariah go off to the side to hash things out. So Bria says that she appreciates Mariah for reaching out to her more than once. And I said, now hold on. If Mariah was reaching out to you several times, then how are you still holding a grudge? I'm confused because the way Bria has been carrying on about Mariah and how much she hates her, you would think that Mariah did not even reach out to her. Again, this whole storyline is bogus on Bria's part, and she just wants attention. So Mariah explains why she blew up. She says that she had no idea that Bria wasn't the one who put the dog's clothes in the dryer, and how when she asked, Bria didn't clarify if it was her or if it wasn't her. Then she says, and you guys know that I'm allergic to dogs, that's why I blew up. Then she continues on by saying that she snapped because it felt intentional. But now they both agree that Amir's the one who's at fault and started the whole thing, and Amir could have spoken up and they could have avoided this whole entire thing in the first place. And again, I agree. And that's why I think it's so pathetic of Amir that he just won't apologize to Mariah. Now we see at one point Nick is on FaceTime with his girlfriend Tasia, and I was thinking, now why isn't Tasia there? What's going on with that? But anyhow, we now see Phil gather the guys together. He wants to apologize to them. Jordan leaves the party early because she needs to get ready for the Freaknik party. And she also says that she has no intention of ever speaking to Phil again. He tried to reach out to her on social media. He DM'd her asking if she was still mad at him. And she's like, I didn't like you then. I don't like you now. I'm never going to like you. Now, Phil, you could have kept this apology because the way you made no sense. Phil is like, hey guys, I just want to say I effed up badly last year. I'm sorry. Then he goes on to say, tequila is expensive as hell and I was trying to be cool. They were all like, sir, what? Nick was like, you can't blame it on the tequila. So Phil's like, no, I'm not. And they were like, yes, you are. Like, just say you're sorry. And I just said, I don't even know how they understood what he was saying because Phil was mumbling the entire time. So Phil goes on to say that he didn't even remember half the stuff that he said. I just said, again, Phil, you've been begging to be around this group and be back on TV. Just say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. But talking about the tequila was expensive and I was trying to be cool and I don't even remember what I said, stop. We don't need to hear a half-assed apology with an excuse. Just say, I'm sorry, full stop. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And at one point, Nick was so over it, he was like, look, I don't have time for this. So now Amir interjects and he says, look, these are my boys. We're a ride or die group. That's why I stepped in last year. So while he's talking, you have Phil interrupting him and mumbling. We don't know what he's saying. And Amir is like, look, bro, you're going to have to let me speak. Like, you can't keep talking when I talk. Like, that's not going to fly. And I had secondhand embarrassment watching Phil look so desperate. And then when he said, I just want to thank you guys for accepting my apology, I said, well, they didn't really accept it, but I guess. So they all shake hands and hug Phil. Everything is good between them. And once again, Nick had me screaming. He says, you know, when you have a book report that's due in a month, and you're ill-prepared for it, that's what this was. Phil had an entire year to apologize, and he still failed. Then he goes on to say that if he never sees Phil again, he'll be just fine. I said, Nick, don't speak too soon, because if they do bring y'all back for season 3, they could very well replace somebody and bring Phil back on. So you might be spending 2 weeks with him again if you guys do get a season 3. I'm just saying. Because production is messy and they love a train wreck and Phil is all of the above. And the fact that Phil is hungry to be on TV, you never know. He just might be your newest castmate. So Preston's cocktail mixer is over and now they are back at the house getting ready for Jordan's Freaknik party. So child, when I tell you, the costumes were cute. But when I tell y'all, Nick and Alex, in my opinion, had the best costumes. Nick had everybody reconsidering. Nick took the glasses off. He had these fake tats all over his body. They were like, damn, Nick is fine. Like, he looks good. Shanice was all over that. She was like, oh, she was like, Nick gets all the hoes. Like, oh my gosh. And I said, Shanice, I'm going to need you to stop being so desperate. Because all throughout the night, she kept saying, oh yeah, I'm going to F Nick tonight. Nick, I'm going to F you tonight. And I'm just like, girl, you know how I feel about shooting shots? No, women should not be shooting their shots with men. It's cringe. It's desperate. Like, just stop. And I know you were joking, but it just still gave very much secondhand embarrassment. Like, stop. Let the guy be all over you. You don't need to be talking about, oh yeah, I want to F you and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, be a lady. I don't know. Shanice has very desperate energy. Because, girl, again, why are you bragging about all these men that you're having sex with and laying up with, but yet you're complaining about how you don't have money and you can't even buy yourself an outfit from Zara? There's a disconnect here. No way you should have all these men on your line, allegedly, and rich men on your line, from what you're saying, NBA players and high status men, but they won't even give you $1? There's something wrong. Again, Shanice gives very much desperado and pick me. But baby, she was all over Nick throughout the night. So even Jordan is like, oh my gosh, Nick looks good. Like, damn, like, okay, he needs some tats. The glasses are off. Like, yes. Noelle was like, that's not Nick, that's Nicovelli, okay? Preston was like, child, who's this man? Like, I don't know him. Like, where did he come from? I thought Simon's costume was cute, and he was definitely giving Jack Harlow, for sure. So mind you, everybody's in the kitchen waiting to go outside, and Jordan wants to know where Amir and Natalie are. We see them still getting ready, and Natalie, girl, you had me all the way messed up. Because Natalie says, I don't want to be a part of that. And Amir is like, oh, don't worry, you don't have to be. And I just said, let's pause for a minute, because what the hell did that mean? I don't want to be a part of that. What don't you want to be a part of? That gave very much racist. It gave very much these blacks, I don't want to be a part of that. What do they have going on? That's what that gave. And Natalie, the vibes I get from you are that of quite a few non-black women who date black men and they only like the black man that they're dating, but they do not like black people as a collective. And they especially don't like black women. That's the vibe that I get from you. Because again, all throughout the night, you were making these really crazy facial expressions. You did not seem to be having a good time at the party. It was like you did not want to be there, but you were only there because Amir is your man. And I wasn't surprised in the least bit that Amir didn't even check her for saying that. So now everybody heads outside for Jordan's Freaknik party, and it's set up nicely. There's a DJ, there's a bar, there's food, decorations. She did a nice job. Now, one thing that's a bit annoying, this cast feels like they always need to give us a Black history lesson at all times. Jordan gives a speech about the history of Freaknik, and I said, no offense, but I don't need a Black history lesson on Freaknik when you guys don't even know who Arthur Ashe is. But in my opinion, I think that Jordan's Freaknik party was the best party so far. They had other guests there. They looked like they were having a good time. They're dancing, they're drinking, taking shots. And I said, okay, this is what we want to see. We don't want to see all this crying and just the 9 of y'all looking at each other. Like, we want to see an actual party. And did anybody notice that throughout the night, when they were dancing, the cameras would pan to Natalie and Amir, and Natalie looked visibly disgusted, like she did not want to be there. And it's like, girl, go home then. Get back on a plane, go back to Texas, and leave us alone. So as the party's winding down, everybody's in the hot tub, and Jasmine's asking Amir and Natalie about the relationship. She's like, how did you guys meet? And they met at the gym, and then 2 months later, they moved in together. I was like, oh, okay. And now you have Natalie saying that it's exciting because they're going to be working with each other. He's going to be working under her at the real estate agency. And so Amir goes on to say that he's in love and he wants to get engaged soon. That's the next step. And he even told Natalie that he might propose to her this weekend. The way they all looked at him like, boy, please. And I said, y'all, this is not our fight, okay? If he wants to propose to Natalie, then so be it. Let him do what he wants to do. Who are we to try to stop anything? I know I'm not stopping anything. So, Amir, if you want to spend the rest of your life with Natalie, God bless. Now, I'm not going to hold you guys. The last 12 minutes of this episode were jarring. A lot happened. I couldn't even tell you how this argument even transpired. They're all in the hot tub playing Never Have I Ever, and Noelle was confused on how to play. So you have Summer getting upset, and she's like, no, that's not how you play it. That's not how you play it. And they're all like, okay, girl, calm down. So at one point, Summer gets up to go back into the house, and then Bria yells out like, oh, Summer, are you scared or something? So Summer walks back, and she's cursing, and she's lunging at Bria like she wants to fight. They're all like, girl, what is going on? And I said, once again, Summer, you might want to slow it down with the alcohol, because when you get drunk, your first instinct is to start cursing or crying or wanting to fight, because this makes no sense. Everybody's super confused. They're like, I don't know what's going on. So now Summer's back in the hot tub. She's next to Bria, and she's like, let's dead this whole thing. I love you so much. It's not that deep. And Bria's like, yeah, girl, I love you too. It's not that deep. Let's just dead this and forget about it. Now, mind you, Amir and Natalie have gone back to their room, and I thought it was so gross for Natalie to get in the bed with her swimsuit on. I said, now, I don't know about you, but as for me, I'm taking a shower before I go to bed. And especially if I was in a pool and a hot tub and I was sweaty and dancing, there's no way I'm going to get in the bed. I'm taking a shower. That was so gross. I said, yeah, you have all that mouth talking about you don't want to be a part of this, that, and the third. But girl, we don't want to be a part of you and your poor hygiene, because that was disgusting. Hopping in that bed with your bathing suit on without a shower. So now at this point, everybody's back in the house, and we see Alex and Mariah in the kitchen, And I don't know if Alex was washing his hands or something like that, but whatever he was doing, it set Summer off. She starts fussing at him and she's like, we have 4 bathrooms upstairs. Why are you doing that? And Alex is like, why are you yelling at me? So she's like, oh, I'm not yelling. I was just saying. So Alex says last year, what attracted him to Summer was how lucid she was, how carefree and kind she was. And now this summer, it's the complete opposite. Now, Alex, remember, Summer came to the house last year at the tail end. She was only in the last 3 episodes. So you only spent like 4 or 5 days with her. That's why you didn't see her full personality like you are this year. But anyhow, I digress. So now it's about 2 in the morning, 2:15, and we see Bria and Noelle in Shanice's room. So they're all just goofing off talking, and Summer's walking up the stairs trying to join them. And then she's like, why do you guys always leave me out of everything? I said, oh my gosh, Summer, go to bed. Go to bed. You've had too much to drink. Just go to sleep. Sleep it off. This is enough. I'm just so tired of hearing these ladies whine and act like they're 5 years old. Like, y'all need to grow up. So when Summer walks into Shanice's room, she's already starting with Bria. So she's like, I apologize to you 7 times already. And Bria's like, girl, I know that. Now, let me tell you, it's a sad day when Bria looks like the rational one, because Bria also has her outbursts and she acts up. So the fact that Bria actually looked calm and composed, I said, now you know it's bad. You have Bria and Summer still going at it, and Noelle and Shanice are being silly. Shanice is taking funny pictures of Noelle with this wig that Noelle had on. So I don't know why that set Summer off. So Summer stops talking, she storms out the room, and Noelle's like, oh my gosh, Summer, I wasn't making fun of you. I was just taking pictures of myself with a wig. That's all it was. And I said, Noelle, I love you and all. I love how you're a peacemaker, but let Summer be upset. I would not be chasing behind her. I just don't like how quite a few of the women in this group, they have this mentality of if they're upset, then everybody else has to be upset too. Like, misery really loves company. If they're not happy, then nobody in this house is going to be happy, and that's not fair. If you want to be upset and have a pity party and sulk, do it over there on your own time. But don't bring the group down. They only have a few more days left. Let them enjoy their time. Nobody's here to coddle you and be miserable the whole entire time because you're miserable. That's not how this works. So Summer's in her room, and now you have Noelle and Bria follow her. They're like, hey girl, are you okay? Noelle keeps reiterating that she wasn't making fun of Summer. She was just having fun and being silly with the wig. So Summer says that they have their own friendship, and now Bria points out that Summer has a special friendship with Preston and Jordan, and that she feels left out. So Summer's like, no, it's not the same. Then Summer goes on to say in her confessional that Preston just lost his dad, Jordan has her issues with her alopecia, and then with her issues with finding her dad and her grandma having surgery, their friendship is very heavy. So she's jealous of the fact that Noelle, Bria, and Shanice have a lot of fun and they're lighthearted and silly because she wants that. And I said, Summer, I say this with love, but Miss Mamas, you've got a lot of baggage that you need to unpack. And that's not their issue that you feel jealous of their friendship. That's an issue that you need to work out within yourself. Also, Summer, people have different relationships. Their relationship is their relationship. Your relationship with them is going to be different. And from what I've seen, Noelle has been very sweet, very loving. She seems like a great friend, and she's made sure to include you in things. Shanice has also been very sweet to you, along with Bria. So for you to say that you're jealous of their friendship, I'm just confused because they've included you in everything. You guys are always together. You're always with one of them at any given time. So again, explain it to me like I'm 5. How are you jealous when you're just as close to them? I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, Summer has a lot of issues that she needs to work out and unpack, and stop lashing out and taking it out on other people. I've said this time and time again in various recaps. My misery does not like company. So if I'm going through something, trust and believe I will isolate myself, because it's not fair or right to bring down the vibes of the group just because I'm in a mood. And I empathize about you feeling like you're drowning in life and you feel overwhelmed, feeling like you have nobody to talk to about this. But that's why there's counseling and therapy. And I really think that you should have gone to therapy prior to signing up for season 2. So now the 4 of them are all back in Shanice's room to talk, and Summer's like, I just need a minute to collect my thoughts. She says, Bria, I apologize to you so many times. So Bria says, girl, I appreciate your apology. I accept it. I'm not mad at you at all. I'm fine. I'm good. So Summer is still rambling on. And at this point, Bria says, you know what? I'm going to keep my mouth shut because obviously I can't say anything right. So now Summer starts screaming and she's like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And I was just like, Summer, please, sweetheart, go to sleep. Baby, you are spiraling. So now Summer gets up to walk off and Noelle is trying to get Summer to stay in the room and just talk. And now Summer pushes Noelle. I said, child, I know Summer is drunk. She's not in her right state of mind, but I don't know if I would have let that slide the way Noelle did. Noelle has the patience of a saint. I've been drunk more times than I care to admit, and I've never put my hands on anybody. I just feel like that was unacceptable. So now you have Summer's talking about, you see, I pushed her. Are you happy now? So now she goes downstairs. She's walking all over the house. Mind you, they still have guests there. And Summer's making this big scene. She's throwing things. I'm just like, Summer, go see the lady. Go see the lady immediately. When you touch back down in the city, go and see the lady. Go and get you some help. And you might want to take a break from alcohol, because obviously when you get drunk, you get stupid and you can't control yourself at all. You can't handle your liquor whatsoever. And again, Noelle, you have the patience of a saint and you are a great friend, because the way Noelle was chasing behind Summer, she was like, Summer, stop it. Stop doing this. Stop it. Like, just stop. Like, girl, calm down. And I just said, honey, you're better than me, because the way I would have went back to my room and gone to sleep and let Summer embarrass herself and crash out like that, I would not have been there chasing her around. It would not be happening. And especially after she pushed me, no ma'am. But that's where the episode ends, with Summer still having her meltdown. We see to be continued flash on our screens. And I said, a hot mess. Miss Summer, girl, you're going to have a lot to answer for at this here reunion, between all this mess between you and Alex, these meltdowns. It's a lot going on. But guys, that was my recap. That was the episode. And I'm going to need for Bravo to promote Summer House Martha's Vineyard more, because the show has so much potential. And I think that this season is giving a lot. And it's sad that the ratings are tanking. The ratings are hovering around 200,000 viewers. That's horrible. But yeah, I think that if they would promote the show more, put some more money behind the show, some cast changes, this show could be golden. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.